that we accept socially don't. But I think there is something to be said for, especially as a young girl, I think emphasizing waiting to be in love is really important. I think that, the best sex you're going to have is when you are in love. And that, the sexual aspect of a relationship isn't just having sex, it's something that two people explore for, years. And hopefully it's a meaningful enough part of the relationship that it lasts throughout their relationship. So I think there is definitely something to be said for waiting to, not just to be in lust when you're 16, and not just to, lose your virginity for the sake of losing your virginity. I think there's...
Do you think you should wait till a certain age?
I think that most teenagers don't really experience love as we know it, or we talk about it, and for that reason, it's sort of self-selecting that I would encourage everyone to wait for love in the way I would define love. Most younger people would not fall into that category. I think part of the problem is we talk about it in two extremes. We talk about waiting for marriage and people that are pro-abstinence, and then we just talk about safe sex. And the safe sex people don't really tend to define what to wait for. It's like if you're not going to wait for marriage, there's no other demarcation of what you should wait for, and I really don't believe in that. I think there should be more talk about what it really means to be in love, how you know when you're really in love, and how long it takes to trust someone and love someone, and how, and I think you would get a more responsive audience if you did talk about that. So I'm a big fan of waiting for love.
So how do you know if you're in love?
I guess it's different for every person. For me, it's the best feeling in the world. It's like a drug. I really miss being in love. I think it's just part of what makes life worth living. I think it comes with getting to know someone as well as you know yourself, which I think takes time. I think trusting someone to the point of not holding anything of yourself back is part of it. I think talking and planning for the future is part of it. I don't think I have the best definition of it, but I think part of that is we don't talk about it enough in general. I wish it came up in conversation more so that I would have had more opportunities to think about it and explore it even more. And I think it de facto, by doing that, would reconcile the people that have sex before marriage with the people that think you should wait, so that the time frame is actually a little closer if you're willing to compromise. If the marriage-only people were willing to compromise a little, they might get better results.
What role would... Do you need some tea?
Thank you.
I don't know if you need any artificial sweetener to get cancer.
No. Cancer-free, please.
What role would love play in your deciding to marry someone?
Huge role. A huge role. I don't think it's enough. I've been in love before. True, crazy, head over heels, all-consuming, years-long love, and he wasn't the right person for me to marry. So it's one of those necessary but not sufficient requirements. I wouldn't consider... I want to marry for love. So that it's the most important thing, but I also think you have to be realistic about, especially because we're living so long these days, having a love that sustains you 10 years is a different choice now than it was 100 years ago. So hugely important, but not the only thing to consider. Ellen wasn't too happy with my response there.
No, she's very much on your side. Ellen says, like a child's brain has a window of opportunity for learning. If you pass over the window during sexual development, it could be detrimental. Don't you think waiting ruins the physical development aspect?
It's interesting.
And they're saying how modestly dressed you are. And Ellen says, I'm sure she has tiger print underneath. And Joshua says, oh please, let's keep this professional.
It's raining cats and dogs outside. It's hard to wear short skirts and high heel in 5-inch puddles.
And I did tell you the angle of the cam, so...
Yes.
I watched out for your honor. Do you see any dangers in writing the blog that you're writing?
Yeah. And my personal life is more important to me than any blog I'm writing.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I worry about it a lot. It's not to the point where, I mean, when I meet people now, I have a choice not to tell them, and I don't, for the most part, especially if I like them. That doesn't mean at some point it doesn't come up.
When they Google you.
Yeah, right. You know, or even on your Facebook friends with me, I've been posting it. So it's a huge concern. And I don't know that I have the answer for it, except that I'm trying to navigate it situation by situation. For all the real people, I'm, including, I tried to change the names. I try to change so that it's not true. I already got in trouble once for something that wasn't even true. Someone thought I was writing about him, and I guess told my parents, and I wasn't even talking about him.
What a wanker.
I know.
What a wanker.
But it was like they were all offended. Like, who is Tamara writing about?
Like, you're not going to hook up with him anymore.
Yeah. And it was like the guy, has a girlfriend of a number of years. I wasn't referencing him at all. And now I'm like, oh God, now I have to be careful to offend people I'm not even talking about. It's tough. But a sacrifice for my art, I guess.
How do you like law school?
It's okay. Now I actually like it. The first year I was so miserable. I was like close to suicidal. It was so awful.
Yeah.
You just do so much work for it. This year, by my second year, I was deciding to pursue a writing career more than a law career. So when that became time-consuming, I sort of just decided I was going to law school as a hobby. I think everyone needs a hobby. And I'm very academic. I love to read. All I do is read and write anyway, so why not go to law school? It's incredibly useful and powerful amount of knowledge. I think everyone could benefit from it. That doesn't mean there aren't times during finals where it's miserable and cutthroat, and I hate my life.
Who is Tamara in the Torah, and how does your guest feel about that?
Tamara in the Torah. I thought Tamara was just Tamar in the Torah.
Yeah, Tamar.
I thought Genesis. It was. I don't remember. I know in The Tempest she's the evil villain in Shakespeare.
Which literary character do you most identify with? Would it be Tamara in The Tempest?
The evil. Doesn't she eat her kids? Oh God. It would probably.
You're past that now. You don't do that anymore. That was a passing
You're right.
phase.
Those teenage years. Yeah. Holden Caulfield. Probably.
So you might shoot like a rock star.
Perhaps.
I see you like standing out in the rain reading a Hebrew edition of what's the name of that novel? The Holden Caulfield?
Catcher in the Rye.
Yeah, reading Catcher in the Rye.
Well,
waiting for Bill Clinton to